All right, we have loaded up and moved to another project. We just went back and got the grading bucket, got the mini, the roller, and the motor grader is over there behind that corn. We've got a farm entrance path right here that has washed out very badly from all that rain we've had, and we are going to spruce it up. So the plan for this is to come in here with the motor grader, cut a ditch down this side. There's a pipe that goes under the road right there. Get all this crowned up so that the runoff goes to this side, and probably another swell over here. That'll go somewhere over here. And up here at the very top, I'm gonna put a little berm in to divert. I'll show you when I get up there, all that runoff, take it off through the woods over there. But as you can tell, so much water is coming down this path, it's just washing. The farmer's actually drug it a little bit with his tractor, but it just washes a humongous gully in right here. So we got to get this crowned up, rolled in, and we're going to top dress it with some crushed concrete through here to cap it off and keep it from eroding. So you can see right here, there's a ditch that comes from the neighbor's property. A lot drains through here and it goes straight down the path right there. So I'm going to cut a little swell right through here into the woods so that it'll take majority of that and send it straight over there into the woods. Kind of put a little hump right here to keep it from running down the path. Crown this up so the rest goes either to the left or to the right. Getting this slicked up with the grader. So we're going to do what I've not used before, and that's the rippers. I need to rip this edge down. I need to go down about 6 or 8 more inches up through here, and the ground is so hard that the blade will not really do anything. So I was like, you know what, this grader's got rippers on it. So I just went and took out the locking pin. I'm going to back up here and see how well this works. I've never used them before, and I've never used a set of rear rippers before, so I don't exactly know how well this works. So we'll start going forward. We're definitely sunk in, and we're spinning. There we go. To be working. Make a few passes here and fill a rock. Just trying to get this edge. Oh yeah, it broke that up really good. Watch out, little tree. A little bit hard to see exactly what you're doing, but I guess you just rip until the grader stops and then lift up. Alright, well, let me keep breaking this up and I will keep moving over a little bit. Get a crown and a ditch cut into this road. A little grater worked good for this. First time I'd used the rippers on it. We're able to get these edges pulled up, get a nice crown right here in the center. We're going to put crushed concrete on top of it. So I added up another 4 or 5 inches. That'll put a good, nice taper down to the ditches. It'll run down there to the culvert pipe under the road. Then I put a swell up there to run it through there. There's a bigger pipe over here to catch that runoff. So I need to run up there to the skid steer and touch that up. I see Mr. Donnie showing up right now with the 220. All right, we got the road crowned up. Now we're going to spread some crushed concrete. Start somewhere about right in here. So we went with the crushed concrete on this. It's a little bit cheaper and doesn't really matter as we're going through the just the farm path through the woods right here. A little bit more and good. That'll work good. Run the grater over that. It'll make a nice base and raise up the farm road here. Well, the old grading bucket hasn't been used in quite a while. We got that hooked up, greased. Got grass growing in it. Yeah, it's been a while. We'll wear some rust off it tomorrow though. All right, we gotta go all the way to the back of this farm to work on the pond. So Robert told me 2 more loads of crushed concrete. Went back to go get 1 more. I think 4 is gonna do it. That'll be adequate for a farm path. I'm gonna jump on the motor grader, go ahead and knock that down. That way he can back up there towards the skid steer and run that last load out right through here. All right, last load. Let's spread these out. I'm gonna let him go haul some rock over there to Jeff's house. We got to do some more road work over there. That'll work. And raise it all the way up and get that last little bit out. Like so. And that is a wrap. Got a nice little farm path coming down to access this tract of land. Come down here and access all the fields down here. Before it was washing out, all that runoff was coming straight down the center. Now I've got it crowned up with the motor grader, got a nice swell on each side, and I diverted that main runoff across the road over there to another ditch pipe down there. So yeah, this should be good to go. Nice swell right here, so everything should run down to that other culvert and nothing else should wash out down the center of the road anymore. Looks good. So I've got this pond bank right here that stays pretty wet and it's hard to mow when it's wet, so I'm going to reach out here with the excavator and grab some of that, cut it back. I may not quite cut it all the way back to that white line, but I'm going to cut it back and add the mud to the shoreline right here. That way we can raise it up and get it a little bit drier. So let's move a little bit of mud here. So I'm just going to scoop this out. Heavy stuff. And dump it up here on the bank. Making that shoreline a little bit deeper, pulling it in just a little bit. Get enough dirt here to raise this edge up a little bit. So, let the water go out of the bucket. It does have the drain holes in it, so that does help some. Back up, smear this down. Been a while while since I used the grading bucket. It's a little more aggressive on this machine because it doesn't have the proportionate controls. It's just off or on, or tilt or no tilt, I should say. And this machine does have a lot of hours on it now, so. And the controls are backwards on this machine versus the other one. So there's really no way to change it. The new machine, they're all on the left joystick, they're all on the right on this one. Just something else to get used to. Sticky stuff. Should dry out, and they should be able to drag it around, disc it in, whatnot. Make it more better. Try to get some more depth. Plus that old slimy, gooey stuff is what spreads better anyways. I'm glad I brought the big machine. This is only going to take, I don't know, a couple hours, 3 hours or so. But just trying to do this with the Mini would have been a lot of work. This is the pond that we raised the dam up and widened it. Well, we didn't raise the dam up, we widened the dam a lot last year. Might have been last year or the year before, I can't remember. So I'll walk over there, we'll check it out before I leave, show you everything. Alright, well, I'm going to keep smearing mud and getting this leveled up. take down, the beavers have gotten. And I'm gonna finish digging that edge of the pond out. And then that is a wrap for this little project. Quick little couple day job here. Have to fish that out of there. I didn't mean to break the top of that other tree off into the pond, but it did. Pile this up. He said he'd handle the brush later on. Break up as good as I want it to. Maple trees end up with some pretty good sized root balls being in the edge of the pond. Shake that off, but it's pretty much just gonna have to lay back here and dry out some. The rest of that I'll just bury in the mud when I dig the edge of the pond out. So let me finish these last two trees up. I'm gonna put the grading bucket back on and finish that up. Shouldn't take too much longer. Tell you about the ordeal I just went through. Dang, that quick coupler fitting gave me an absolute fit. I took the bucket off so I could take those trees down, because this is the old machine and it doesn't have the 3 auxiliaries. It's only got 2, one for the quick coupler, one for the thumb. So to run the grading bucket, I have to tie into the thumb controller to use that hydraulic and lock the thumb up. Well, I unplugged it fine and dandy, went to go plug it back in. One side would plug in, other side would not plug in. Finally took everything apart, got all the pressure off of it. For some reason the machine would not release the pressure like it normally does. So I cracked the line, let a little bit of the fluid out. Then it plugged in, and then the fitting itself started spinning. And as soon as I went and engaged flow to it, it just a solid stream of oil coming out of the fitting where it screws together. And I don't know what happened. It self-destructed or something, but I had to take it, take it off, put a new one on. And of course, that fitting gave me an absolute fit to try to break apart, get the reducer out. 2-minute job just turned into about 35-40 minutes. Now I should have been done with this project. I'm just now digging on it. It's already 3 o'clock on a Saturday and I'm trying to get done. Yada yada yada. You know how it goes. Story of my life. Out the best I can, smear a little mud up here. If I have to lay some over the tree, I'll do so to get this filled in to the level it needs to be. Let's try to do this way, that way I can continue that grade across. This is some nasty lumpy clay, so it does not grade out very good. Yada yada yada. How a simple task turns into an ordeal. Wouldn't have it any other way, right? Skimming this down a little bit so that there's not so much around that little tree. Alright, well, I'm going to finish slicking this little bit of mud up, and that will be a wrap for this section of the pond. And there's one one more little spot in the ditch somewhere he wants me to fix. So he can show me that once I get done with this, and that'll be it for today. And that is a wrap. That edge all cleaned up and filled in. So took those few trees down, opened that up, and pulled that slope up to fill in that lower section right there and make the pond a little bit deeper and raise that up so that it can be mowed and not stay so soggy. That's it.